right, hello, good evening. Welcome to another Monday night review of the FAMU football game, homecoming win versus Alcorn State, right here on the ONG Strike Zone and Things Up podcast. Bryan Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Keith Hadley, glad to be here with you. Hopefully, it's been a struggle, boy. I tell you, the day after, I understand why people take off the day after the Super Bowl, the Monday after the Super Bowl, and I think it should be a holiday for everyone to take off the Monday after homecoming. Kelvin, Keith, how you brothers doing tonight?
Doing well, man. It was a little rough this morning, but great weekend, and the football team finished it off correctly with a victory. So, I'll take a rough Monday.
There you go. Makes a rough Monday a little bit easier to swallow. How you doing, Keith?
Oh man, I'm good now. I was struggling a little bit over the weekend, especially Sunday morning. Sunday morning was the struggle for me. Like, there was no post game party. We got out late enough, but I was just tired. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, no. I tell you, getting out of Tallahassee was a pain too. Sunday, ran into it seemed like all kinds of accidents and traffic heading back to Orlando. I don't know about some of you folks going the other direction or going north, but I'll tell you, it was a pain in the rear going east and then south. That's all I can tell you, boy. Man.
South was the problem, man. It was like 2 or 3 car accidents in Ocala and Gainesville.
Yes, man. It's tough. It's tough life for all of us travelers. So hopefully everybody has made it back home, and everybody's in good spirits. Hello to everybody. I'm trying to go through all of the shout outs to everybody. We like to do a little bit quicker here on the Mondays, not spend so much time like we do on the Wednesday shout outs, but trying to give everybody some love. All right. Well, I got people texting me and you're like, yo, I'm on a show. Do you not know that? Hey, boss, I'm on the show. Good Lord. Oh, Jesus help me. All right. Well, fam, you got to win. It's 7th consecutive homecoming win, 5th consecutive in the Southwestern Athletic Conference era. So by virtue of FAMU's 33-28 victory over Alcorn State, the Rattlers improved to 2-4 and 1-1 in conference play. So we're going to get into breaking down this game. How would you describe it before we get into, we're going to get into the minutia a little bit of the first half and various stats, this, that, and other, but just overall, what's your vibe, big takeaway from Saturday's win, Kelvin? And then I'll come to you, Keith.
Big takeaway is we won. That all that mattered. The team needed it, the fan base needed it, the coaches needed it, and we got it done. So my big takeaway is we won the damn game.
All right. How about you, Keith? Big takeaway.
I think that's the most important part. I think we also showed that, one, you can win a game, but also that you're kind of relegated to defeating teams that you should beat, right? And I think that's something that, we really saw in this one. Like, this is a team that the game shouldn't have been that close, but it was. But you still won. And I think kind of going away and coming back and looking at that, you're happy for the win, but you're also a little understanding that if you playing some better teams, there's still some question marks there, man. So, but big takeaway, we won homecoming. And we're not having the conversation that they're having at Florida State.
Well, you know what I always find interesting is, the sort of, when I hear you say better teams, there's only really, in my opinion, 3 really good teams in the SWAC. Of a 12-team conference, there's only 3 this year. 2 of them are in the East. We played one. We will play the other. And then the team out west that I think is the best team out west, we won't see in Prairie View A&M. Everybody else is middle of the road, working on something.
Prairie View falls in that category too, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think Prairie View is that great.
Their schedule has been favorable.
I'm gonna let y'all say that. I'm gonna choose to be on the other side and say, okay.
I say what I said.
Okay, you said what you said. I'm gonna choose to give Prairie View. Okay. Well, if either way, you're either saying that there's 2 or 3 really good teams. Everybody else is kind of
mid,
working on the best, trying to work on things. And the good thing, we're in the middle of the pack, and this is why I've kind of been saying what I've been saying about we play the bottom tier teams. We play 4 and look, we were one of the we might still be, according to some of y'all, we might be one of the bottom 6 teams in the SWAC. Well,
and
the goal is to beat the 4 that we play. Okay. So, I'm just saying, we still have that in front of us. And that's what I still see flaws. I see a lot of people were downing and talking bad about Alcorn State, but Alcorn State has been in practically every game they've played. Now, they haven't finished. They've been competitive. Mm-hmm. And I hear people coming out of the game saying, this is the worst team in the SWAC. No, buddy. No, I will fight you on that and say we're about to play the team that is the worst team in the SWAC right now, according to production, not tradition, not all that other stuff that folks like, but based on performance on the field, we're about to go play the team that has looked the worst in the SWAC. Okay.
And to that point, Brian, just to emphasize it, and it ties into the previous discussion we just had. You got to remember, Alcorn and Prairie View played just 2 weeks ago, and that was a 1-point game in which they missed a field goal or something at the end. And Southern and Prairie View just played, and it was a 17-3, and they got a garbage touchdown at the end, but it still wasn't a very competitive game from a Southern standpoint. So to your point, we're finna play statistically the worst team probably in the SWAC right now. But there may be change coming along with that. Who knows? They're pretty desperate, and we haven't proved that on the road we can sustain things. So we got to see.
Well, we haven't been tested out on the road. We have not played a game outside of the state of Florida yet. Not by our own fault, but this upcoming week, going to Southern University will be the first time that FAMU has had to travel outside of the state of Florida.
Yeah, but it's still not your longest ride, though. If you think about it, that ride to Boca was just as bad, wasn't it?
Well, yes, we have long rides to Arkansas Pine Bluff, to Itabena, to Huntsville. I mean, I know all those are down the road, and that's the majority of our trip. But, we're about to find out. Yeah. But let's turn back to this game. Again, 33-28. Statistical numbers just to kind of throw out for people like myself who like stats. Not everybody likes stats, but FAMU total yards from offense 475 to 304 from Alcorn State. Total passing yards 323 to 178 from Alcorn. Rushing, we outrushed them 152 to 126. 6 penalties committed by FAMU for 61 yards, 4 for 40. We had 26 first downs to their 14. On third down, we were 8 of 17. They were 7 of 15. We were 2 for 2 on fourth down. They were 1 of 3. And maybe the 2 of the biggest stats that I thought was really interesting, time of possession, 36 minutes and 10 seconds. We ran 77 plays. They were 23 minutes and 50 seconds, and they ran 56 plays. I know not everybody's a stat nerd like I am sometimes, but any stats from overall that tickled you like to see, you were a little disappointed in, Kelvin, and then Keith?
Well, you went right where I was going to start is in terms of talking about this game. if you look at the stats, you wonder how in the hell were they even in the game. They got dominated, man. They barely had 300 yards of total offense, and we almost had 500. And then you got a 13-minute difference in time of possession. We're at home. It's a testament either to the both of us being pretty even, we played down a little bit, that they even stayed in the game, was competitive. Because those stats, and we're at home, the game shouldn't have been that close. Now, what stood out to me this game was RJ, and it wasn't his passing. It was when he ran the ball. That was a difference maker for us finishing drives. If you think about it, he didn't throw for 5 touchdowns, even though he threw for over 300 yards. He ran for a touchdown, and he ran for several first downs. And then even on our other touchdown, one was a reverse. So, but his ability, his willingness to actually use his feet, maybe something moving forward that is useful for this offense. That was big. That was huge. So, I mean, that sticks out to me, and the fact that we dominated statistically and who's still in a dogfight.
Go ahead, Keith. I got some thoughts on that comment by Kelvin, but let you get in there first, Keith.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I was leaning towards RJ as well, especially with the turnovers. Some of that, they were dropped. But at the same point, I did like the play calling because you did see a little growth. Some folks were frustrated. He kept throwing the same route for half the game. But I digress. The bigger part, though, when you mixed in that factor, and the other part was the movement of the offense, right? Seeing when you're starting to see the receivers in motion, and you all of a sudden saw plays open up because receivers are in motion, tight ends are in motion, halfbacks are in motion. That opened up the offense. The Wildcat, you could have left that. I mean, that was kind of trash to me, but, it's a good effort. But I think in 2025, Ronnie Brown ain't back there no more. So the Wildcat ain't what it used to be. But I do like the fact that we saw some different formations. I do feel like you can still do some more things to help out your quarterback. Offensive line wise, I did really like, especially in the first quarter, we saw sometimes we had 6 offensive line in there, and it looked like the blocking was better. Like, I think we've seen at this point in the season, against most teams, 5 ain't going to do. So you can keep putting 5 offensive linemen out there to block you want to. You can keep getting the same results where the quarterback gets sacked, he doesn't get enough time. And it doesn't matter if it's RJ or Jet. We've seen the results don't matter based on the quarterback, whether the quarterback is playing the best football team in HBCU sports or one of the worst. If you got 5 offensive line out there, they're not able to get it done. It's something we've consistently seen. So I did really like that. And like I said, I like the motion as well. So, but overall, I love the outcome.
There it is. Breaking news.
Yeah, well, we'll follow up on a little bit of that as we get into as we go here. Zach McKinnell, FCS Central Blue Bloods, dropping some breaking news in our chat window, which we'll get to towards the end of the show as we look forward to our opponent. Appreciate you dropping in on that, Zach. Let me respond to Kelvin here. This game being closer than what it was, 5-point ball game. For those who pay attention or look at those kind of things, we covered expectation, but which was only 3.5. But I will say this came down to, I thought, 2 plays in which why this game was as close as it was. One was in the second quarter when Jacoby Matthews returned a punt 79 yards. Okay, one. And then the second time was in the fourth quarter after we had just gone up 33-21. And the crowd was, it was bananas. It was electric. The atmosphere was on swole. I think they'd even maybe kicked in the light show. And then all of a sudden, we gave up, and I'm looking at the mark here when this occurred. 3, yeah, it's exactly where I'm going. 3:35 left in the fourth quarter. the kickoff by Daniel Porto is returned 40 yards to their 48-yard line. And in that play, a play in which Tavion Haney literally caught it, what would be the FAMU side of the field about on the numbers, literally ran right up the seam. We ended up having 2 players injured on the play. That I guess they ran. I don't know if they ran into each other, but something happened and 2 guys ended up being injured. But literally, he ran it. I mean, it was a 40-yard return. He got it from about the 10-yard line, maybe the 12. Took it all the way to the 48-yard line. They came back in 3 plays, and I think it was one of those things where we were. I don't know. You just come out of celebrating. You already had 1 player hurt. Then you had 2 players that are down. Mentally, we weren't in that drive, I don't think. And in 3 plays, they scored a touchdown.
Is that before or after Nayron got hurt too?
This was after the two guys getting hurt was after Nayron's injury. So
exactly,
the momentum was already kind of shaky at best.
That's what bad teams do, though. That's the difference between good teams and bad teams. They don't maintain their level of play. And also on that, you mentioned the punt return. We've been critical of the punt team. I want you to go back, everybody go back and look at how we lined up for that punt. It was the old way.
Was it?
Okay. Everybody was to the right. There was not a person to the left. And the punt didn't get as probably high as they wanted it to, nor closer to the sideline, because I think they were trying to angle kick it as much as they wanted to. So once he started right to his right, it wasn't a whole lot of resistance. He was untouched. But again, we were in a punt formation that is not structurally sound and has little margin of error. So if that punt ain't to the sideline where we can pin them in where the coverage is, you can expect that to be repeated again. I really wish we would do a more balanced and consistent punt formation.
Mm-hmm. And I will also echo your comments regarding RJ and his abilities or his willingness to run. Just looking individually, he had 5 runs for 33 net yards. And looking at the rushing plays and just the plays over 10 yards. I mean, we in total, just kind of looking at our explosive plays of 10 plus yards running the ball, we had 8 of them, right? RJ had 2 of them he had 1 in the first quarter for 11 yards, which was a first down, another in the second, which was a 13 yards for first down. And then, of course, he had the 26-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter, which, if I'm not mistaken, was a 4th down play. If I'm not mistaken, that was a 4th down play. So yeah, I thought his timeliness and, he took, there were some sacks and there were some plays in there, but I know you guys like to call him the luckiest quarterback in Division I football.
Come on.
I didn't say that.
You saw that. You saw especially that one drop. It was.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I
know you didn't say that, Keith, but somebody else on this panel.
I said.
I mean, he should have had 6 picks.
Yeah,
if we're going by the season, he should have 6
hit
picks.
the dude square in the hands, and it was a pick 6 all the way. Well, but thank God he played defense.
He played defense for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my biggest thing, and we've said it before, he hold the ball too long. I mean, you can argue with the results. I get that. Anybody who wants to say what the results are, they are. He got 300 yards, no turnovers. He's got 2 wins.
Still no turnovers.
Right. But that's again,
okay, I get it. I know. We will potentially look at that stat and you will say, it is the the luckiest, most insignificant, however you want to phrase it. But if it turns out being none.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Okay.
No. What I'm saying is when you're watching the game against good teams, the flaws catch them. And that's what we've seen over and over again.
Yeah. And we won by 5, and we won by 5 again, right? The 2 wins, both by 5. Thank God we ain't got no turnovers.
That part. A pick six and lose.
Again, RJ's numbers, and just recently, RJ was named SWAC Newcomer of the Week for his performance, 26 of 38, 323, first 300-yard passing game of the season, 1 touchdown and 1 rushing touchdown as well. And also, passing-wise, we hit, of the 26 completions, he passed to 11 different receivers. And doing the math here, 11 different receivers that he hit. In terms of explosive plays, 10 plus yards. There were a total of 18 of them in the ball game. 7 of them were 20 plus yarders. Now, obviously there's a little tongue in cheek on that because some of those were, because of how they categorize a pass, but still the fact that we had 18 explosive passes of 10 plus yards, I think one of the biggest knocks that we all had early in the season was his inability to go downfield. And I think today or Saturday, we saw the ball going down the field more.
What we saw more of was getting the ball out your hand and letting the receivers do their job, right? And the tight end. It wasn't like he was throwing 30, 40-yard bombs now.
Oh, no. Come on, Kelvin.
Come on, man. Brian. Do that ball 5 yards.
I mean,
Keith, how many of those passes did he throw 10, 15 yards down the field, Keith? Come on.
Like 3.
I mean, it was a lot of yards after catch, but also to that point, he had great stats, and he should probably have been the offensive player of the week for the SWAC, to be honest. When you combine his running and his passing, so he had a really solid game, a really good game,
very good game. But he wasn't pushing the ball down the field now,
and he still missed opportunities. He could have had even a better game, as good as his game was.
Okay,
because on the 2 drives, no. So I always point out, I got to talk about what I see, Brian.
I do too. I want to go at you with this if I think you're going where I think you're going.
All right. Well, I'm going where I'm going. So, the first 2 drives where we didn't get those, we kicked field goals.
Let's talk about those. I'm glad you brought those up.
That first drive, we had a guy wide open in the end zone who broke free and just missed that throw, and we've seen that throughout the game. And then even on the second drive, we had opportunity to get in the end zone. And so those kind of things, I margin it. What I'm getting at, and that's not everything ain't total on RJ, but
no,
it was a 5-point game. Those are the kind of plays that we came forward and missed because our margin of error is so small in terms of winning. And we still in a decent position if we can clean up. We showed a little improvement, got a little swag. And here's what I'll say about Alcorn State. They have struggled, but they have been competitive. They average more yards per game than we do, even now after this game. They are a middle row weaker team in the conference. But they competed. They played hard. They have 1 or 2 pieces. So I'm not poo-pooing on this victory. They made us earn it. That's the ultimate respect. They came in a hostile environment, and they competed, man. It was up 14-9 at the half against better competition. That we probably won't overcome that. Those is the point. That's what I'm saying. So the misses that we missed, the drop, the drop interceptions, those kind of things, our margin error is small. We just got to understand and be honest about that.
Okay. So the first drive that you're speaking of, okay, the opening drive of the game, we get to a second down, and I was watching this, so I'm charting this as I watch. Second down and 8 on. Let me see. Okay, so let me back it up. We're on the Alcorn State 41, 1st and 10. RJ completes a pass to Kanari Wilcher, right? 29 yards. The ball was in the air. It wasn't like he threw it to Wilcher 5 yards from the line and he ran. No, he threw the ball in the air, 29 yards. Kanari went up and made a great play, okay? Ball's at the 12-yard line. We get a 2-yard short pass to Goldie, second down and 8 now. Now, here's the big play, the second and 8 rather, right there, okay, which was the little short toss where Goldie's running a sweep, and they called Thad for an illegal block below the waist, a total BS call, horrible call. If you saw the replay, he was nowhere by the guy's knees. I don't understand the call, but, it would have been 1st and goal at the 2. We end up getting penalized for it. We're back now at the 21-yard line, a penalty of about 11 yards. So it's 2nd and 19. 4 receiver set, trips to the far side left. We're on the right hash mark. Now, this is the play I was just texting you, Keith, that I watched like 10 times. And I'm listening to Jay Walker on this call. I love Jay Walker, mad respect for Jay Walker. And I know he's quarterback way more than I've played Madden games as quarterback, right? So the call turns out it ends up being a screen play is what it was supposed to be to Thad. But the play started off bad with a low snap. Then the left tackle and Thad run into each other. I looked at it like 2 or 3 times. The left tackle honestly got blown up. Thad ended up getting mixed up in the scrum, and RJ ends up having to dump the ball, which ends up being an incomplete pass. Okay, and that's one of those plays where it looked like, because it bounced off the turf so fast, the Alcorn linemen got it off the ground. They ran the other way, and everyone's kind of like, whoa, whoa, whoa. That ball never was it didn't hit anybody's feet. It hit the turf, right? But I'm listening to Jay. Jay's putting that on RJ. And I'm sitting there thinking, no, that if you go back and watch that play at and I charted it here, it was at the just after the 10:46 mark, 10:46 in the quarter. The offensive line didn't block, poor blocking, bad snap, and RJ ended up trying to, make something out of nothing. And really the best thing he could do was throw it incomplete. Okay. Now you want to go to the pass into the end zone, the pass attempt into the end zone. As I looked at that, he threw that ball in a spot that the receiver, if the receiver, and we said this on the broadcast, even Albert Chester and I, we both thought that ball, that the receiver got caught in the sun because of where the sun was, which was the sun was setting over the west side. The receiver turned. That ball was hung up just enough in the air that if that receiver runs hard to that pylon, that is a catch. The receiver broke his speed off.
I rewatched that multiple times. It was just a miss. It was a miss pass, and that's okay. It happens. Okay, go back and look at it. Trust me.
I did. I watched it like 3 times. I saw it live. The receiver didn't put any speed. But what I'm saying
he was wide open. Nobody was around him. Just put it.
That was a result of the sun. I believe that was a result of the sun. The receiver lost the ball, slowed down his momentum. It was a play that was supposed
to. The sun slowed down his momentum.
The sun slowed down his vision.
Regardless, we have to hit those plays
in the air. Well, but how come why is that all on RJ? Why is that not on the receiver as well?
I disagree with the screen being on RJ. I think that's a good play call. Not a good play call. Good decision. I think it's a trash play call. What the problem is
I agree with
you
that.
run too many screens in the offense. And again, as I stated, my biggest thing is he's late a lot. And when you're running 5 linemen out there a lot of time, it's not giving him that extra time. He needs an extra second to process. And you saw in the comments, you ran play action. You ran some different plays that, maybe suited his skill set a little bit. Let him roll out. So you cut the field in half so he doesn't have to read so much. He's struggling to process. Like, he's executing, but most of his passes are short. And he's making the right decision when it's a check down. But as Kelvin mentioned, when I was on the field, he missed that from what I saw. I ain't gonna lie to you. From field level, I thought he just overthrew it. I could be wrong.
Well, okay.
It doesn't matter. We got a W.
Disagree. Yeah, I mean, I'm passionate about it because I think it's a narrative that I think we keep continuing to spin. That I think there's more than one ill in the whole setup, right? I don't think the play calling was great. There was another drive in the second half, and I was trying to remember. It was either in the third or fourth quarter where we hit 2 20-yard plus plays, pass plays, 2 of them in a row. And we got momentum. And I'm thinking, here comes the third play. Boom, hit them right in the end zone. Because I think we were only maybe 25, 30 yards away from the end zone.
Oh, when they dropped the tight end dropped the ball in the left corner of the south end zone?
No. I mean, literally, if I can find it, we went pass complete, 20-something yards. Pass complete, 20-plus yards. And instead of keeping with it, the OC went to a run. And it was like, what?
Did you hear your head coach after the game?
I missed it. Help me out, Keith. I did see it, but I didn't catch it all.
Go ahead. It on the Things Up podcast website.
Go ahead. Exactly. Go ahead. What did he say, Keith? What did the coach
say? At the end of the day, he want to run. He still want to run the ball and play good defense.
Yeah. He stated that second half he had to ask for the offense to be opened up. That's what he wanted in the second half. But in the first half, let's be honest, we run the same 3 run plays. Like, it's like a draw play. It's like a dive play. It's literally 3 versions of the same run play up the middle. So I don't know how many yards you expect to get when you're running that same play call over and over again. Like, I mean, at a certain point, you start looking at the offense in the first half. Conceptually, it looked like we ran 10 plays.
And don't forget, guys, the offensive line just doesn't hold up long enough.
No, that
part is true. For you to throw down field, which is why I think it's so important. RJ decided to run the ball a bit more, be aggressive with it. I think now that can change our offense. That right there can translate from game to game. If he becomes a real dual threat that can get first downs with his feet, then that slows down that pass rush and helps the offensive line out too. You got to be smart with it, but instead of taking those sacks, man, they that lane open up, take advantage of it. So good job with that.
Absolutely. And that was part of the excitement when he was announced. It was like, okay, so we'll have more of a zone read type offense, more run options and stuff like that. And he's trying to be a pocket passer. He's not a pure pocket passer.
All right. We spent a lot of time talking offense, a little bit of special teams. Let's maybe take our break, talk about the defense, and then get into some of the good, bad, and ugly from the game. And we'll get into a little bit more. Again, you saw there was a little bit of breaking news regarding our upcoming opponent. According to Zach McKenna, of course, I'm going to go with Zach, FCS Central. It appears as Terrence Graves, Southern University head football coach, has been relieved of his duties. And if I read in the chat correctly, Fred McNair is now the interim head coach. The former Alcorn State head coach will be the main man on the sidelines as the Rattlers will travel to Baton Rouge this upcoming weekend. So we'll talk a little bit more about this game against Alcorn. You guys get ready with some of your grades, offense, defense, special teams, and the coaching coming up in the next segment. You're watching the Monday Night Review, Florida A&M's 33-28 victory over Alcorn State on homecoming. with the ONG Strike Zone and Fangs Up podcast. We will be back in just a moment.
Football fans, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is celebrating 10 years of crowning an HBCU national champion. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th as the MEAC and SWAC champions clash in Atlanta. Join us for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit thecelebrationbowl.com.
For over 30 years, HBCU Image has been more than just an apparel store. We've been a movement, a statement, a legacy. We celebrate the pride, the purpose, and the culture that make historically black colleges and universities legendary. Whether you're a student or a lifelong supporter, our gear lets you wear your HBCU story with confidence and style. Because when you wear HBCU Image, you're not just wearing clothes. You're wearing culture. You're wearing pride. You're wearing purpose. HBCU.
With over 25 years of serving our communities, Destiny Financial Services, a division of Global Life, is here to help you and your family through difficult times. From cancer care to accidental industries to cardiac care, we all know that there are times that you can't control what happens in your life, but you can be prepared to weather the storm when it comes. Call DFS at 877-300-8269 or visit the website at www.globelifeinsurance.com. That is 877-300-8269, or again, the website at www.globelifeinsurance.com.
ESPN Events presents Red Lobster Band of the Year, a title reserved for elite HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 12th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be examined by the toughest judges in the world of college bands. 4 will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for rankings updates throughout the season. And join us in Atlanta on December 12th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone and Fangs Up podcast, our Monday night review collab of the FAMU football win. Game number 6. We're at the halfway point of the season. FAMU with a 33-28 victory over Alcorn State on Saturday. The Rattlers improved to 2-4 overall, 1-1 in SWAC play. As we get here to the midway point, we can officially say we finally are at the midway point of the season after 6 games. Last segment, we spent a lot of time talking offense, special teams. Let's talk about the defense, guys. I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts about the defense. Coming into this ball game, we were going up against the number 1 rusher in the SWAC, Jacorian Sewell, leading the SWAC in rushing with 630 yards. And if you think about what this defense has had to go against in the last 3 games, we've had to go against two very dynamic quarterbacks and offenses, and Andrew Body and Walker Harris, excuse me. We've had to go against one of the best FCS rushing attacks North Carolina Central had, and then they go into Jacorian Sewell, statistically coming in as one of the top rushers. And, I thought this defense had a major task in front of him, which was slowing Sewell down, really slowing this rushing attack down. Sewell was the spotlight. He had 13 carries for 17 net yards, 25 gained, 8 for loss. The other back, who is also he's a pretty good back as well, Reggie Davis, 9 carries for 50 yards. Now, that's the guy that he never had any yards for loss. I mean, every time he came in, positive yards. And now, probably the one thing that maybe, I don't know if we accounted for it or just was a product of the game flow, Jalen Tolbert, the quarterback, he actually was Alcorn's leading rusher with 57 net yards and a touchdown. But for FAMU, I thought our guys, especially in the middle, did a great job. Bryan Norris had 5 total tackles, 2 for loss. Justice Cross, 4 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. We only got 1 sack. Latari Kinsler, I think that came in the second half. But Corey Collier, defensive back, had 7 tackles, 5 solo. Simeon Hines, 6 tackles, and Jerome Nichols had 5 as well. What's your thought on what we saw from the defense in this game? And I'll start with you, Keith, and then go to you, Kelvin.
I mean, I think defensively, they did a great job stopping the run, obviously. Their main running back. I think consistently, FAMU's defense is showing you one thing they're going to do is they're going to do their best to take away what you do best. Now, everything else, that ancillary stuff, you might be able to get over on us. So in the game, I was okay with the defense. I mean, we got, 1 by 5, gave a special teams touchdown, so you don't necessarily give that to the defense. But I think you look good till Nayron got hurt. Like, as far as tackling wise, like I think there was a noticeable drop off once he came off the field, but I can't say I'm overly impressed simply by the fact that you won. I think some of the aspect of winning is that it's a great perfume and it covers up some of the stank. And statistically, you were okay. But again, this is one of the worst teams in the conference, and we still gave up darn near 30 points. So there's a little piece of me that's still wants more. And even with the current landscape of what college football is scoring-wise, I'm still a little disappointed.
Okay. How about you, Kelvin?
As Keith said, statistically, it was a solid job. We start what they do best, and that's what you want to do as a defense. They were known for running the ball. To hold them to 120-something yards rushing, that's a good deal between all the running backs and the quarterback. And then 107 in passing, which is a little, still a good number. And you got to remember, Keith talked about the points, but one of those was a return kick or punt, so that wasn't on the defense. However, the one thing that has been consistent that bothers me about the defense is being able to get stops when you need them. We weren't able to do that against Howard to close out the game. We struggled to do that against Albany State, but we won, and we did finally make a play. Same thing with this game that we won. We let them drive right down the field, unfortunately, and get back in the game when we went up double digits. And our offense did a good job of not letting them get the ball back. So there's 2 things that bother me with this defense. And Saturday's effort was solid. But the 2 things that still show up and has been consistent. We don't get turnovers. We're last, I believe, in the SWAC in defensive turnovers. We don't cause fumbles. We don't get interceptions. That's a problem. And then the other one is just what I said. I don't think we close out games. When games on the line and we need them to make a play, they struggle. Let's put it that way. We just need more playmaking on that defensive side of the ball. But it was a solid effort.
Yeah, and I think overall, additionally, I don't like some of our coverages. Like defensively, some of our coverages are lined up to where the corners they don't have any help, and you start looking and you're just like, why is the safety here? Why is this guy there? When you know good and darn well one of them corners need more help than the other. Where is that help for him in the form of maybe having a too-high safety look? I understand that you don't want to give up the run and you want to have somebody to spy the quarterback, and a lot of times it's going to be a safety. But at the same time, some of these big plays, because Alcorn dropped a big play pass too, where the corner was burnt again, and it's the same guy. And so starting to question, like, what are some of the things we're seeing in coverage that could really help and maybe even protect our players a little bit?
Just to give some statistical breakdown, and you know, I know, you know, where we are in the conference. We're allowing 34 points per game total. If you wanted to take away the FBS game, we'd still be giving up 30 a game. So I wanted to state that just in case somebody was thinking like me to say, well, what would it look like if we took away that 56 burger we gave up? We'd still be giving up 30, you know. So it only would make a four-point difference, really. But to underscore some of the things that Kelvin brought up, in terms of fumbles forced, we are 10th, tied for, well, there are three teams in the 8, 9, 10 position with just 4. Only have forced 4. The low in the conference is 2. You know, there's only 2 schools that have forced fewer than us. In terms of interceptions, we are second in the – I mean, there's one school that hasn't had an interception all season. Any guesses on who that?
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx
it.
it.
I know, that's why I'm not. I'm not.
Nope. Nope.
And we are our two is like second to last. Us and Alcorn, we're at 2. Number of interceptions. Fumbles recovered. We don't even recover fumbles. We are last in the conference in fumbles recovered. Yeah. So, you know, now the one thing that is sort of an indictment against our offensive line is we allow the second most sacks. You know, we do allow the second most sacks in the conference. We've allowed 14. But, you know, we have one of the fewest offensive turnover numbers. I mean, you know, I know. You know, so we're not. I get it. We're not dynamic. You know, we don't make a lot of mistakes, but we don't create a lot of mistakes on the opponent. So in the end of the day, it all ends up being static. But,
small window,
good
margin of error.
Small period. Margin of error, boring, whatever you want to use, whatever nice
it's lethargic. I mean, you talking about a fan base that is used to the Billy Joe era of football, right? Billy Joe era. Then you come back and we get a little bit of something with the Willie Simmons era, you know. So we're used to offensive production as a fan base. So when you give us less than that, you know, we cool with it as long as we winning. But we still got status. Like, and FAMU we expect points. Like, we expect an offense that puts up points.
The stat I found interesting as I was watching a little of the replay of the ESPN broadcast, they showed a stat that showed our offensive production under the Willie Simmons era. We averaged about 28 points a game. Last year, we averaged 24.5 points a game. This year, offensively, we're at like 15.
Yes.
Steady decline.
Second at last.
Yeah. I was like, wow, it's like that.
It's like that. And that's the way it is.
but we don't turn the ball over.
We don't turn the ball over. No. It could, yeah. So there's room for growth. There's a growth margin there. There's supposed to be some growth because the stats say if you don't turn the ball over, you give yourself a chance to win games.
You don't turn the ball over, except for on, turnovers on downs, because you get a whole lot of 3 and outs.
Well, yeah. How many of those did we have in this game? Did we have any? What was anybody?
It wasn't too bad this week, man.
Oh, we were 2-2, if I remember correctly, on 4th down.
Yeah,
something like that.
2 for 2 on 4th down. Yeah, exactly. All right. Any other superlative type things you want to talk about before we get to the good, bad, and the ugly?
Man, special teams blocked a kick. They also missed a field goal, but they also blocked a kick.
Also gave up a punt return.
That's right. So
I don't know how to. That's gonna be a funny grade. I'm still on the fence on how I'm gonna grade special teams.
That's the one I've been struggling with.
Yeah, man. I know y'all gonna give me hell for my grades later, but that's okay. That's okay. I got my red pen, so But I know some of y'all gonna haze me up about my grading system. But okay, it is what it is. All right, let's get into our segment. I kind of like this segment. The good, bad, and the ugly. Let me get that thing out of the way. Okay, there we go. Good, bad, and the ugly. Okay, Kelvin, let's start. Since we won, let's start the reverse. Let's start with the ugly. Can we start with the ugly? Let's bring it. Let's end with the good stuff since we won. Let's start with the ugly. What about you? What was the ugly?
The ugly for me was that we dominated statistically, and we won by 5. We held on. That's the ugly for this game.
Okay, Keith.
You got a tough one on that one. See, I wasn't ready yet. Now, I really think the ugly overall, not far from Kelvin on that one. But I think defensively, I think especially when a player like that goes down, right? Somebody who kind of was jerking around at the beginning of the season, and then you finally let him be the player that we thought he could be, because he's a leader on that defense. Losing him going into this Southern game gives me cause for concern. So I'm not sure if he'll be back. But I think the ugly is potentially losing a guy like Nayron, who's your defensive leader and who's also your defensive captain and everything else. I think that's a little ugly, because that really brings this game into question for me as far as you beating Southern, even though, I had the Southern Prairie View game right, along with the Tennessee State game.
Shout out to Keith. Shout out to Keith. I'll keep the drink next time I see Keith. The ugly for me, final seconds of the first quarter, a punt return play. Kanari Wilcher is back to receive a punt. And, under about 15 seconds left, he calls for fair catch. And he gets blown up. I mean, the whole crowd was. I think he called fair catch.
No, he didn't. No, he
didn't call fair catch.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
He got blasted for the free.
Well, this is going to make what I say even uglier. Okay, he gets blown up, and the whole crowd goes woo, because his helmet goes flying off, right, as he gets hit by one particular Alcorn State defender, but the other one was right there. The other gunner was right there. So it was like they were like a half step away from each other. And this is where I'm going to get my ugly part A is the celebration by those guys, especially number 20, who ended up getting ejected for targeting. So bad for you. You got ejected. And they were celebrating. I mean, they were so happy that they had just blown one of our guys up and his helmet. I mean, I guess they thought they were going to be on SportsCenter. I guess they forgot what era this is. 10 years ago, that would have been a celebrated play. It would have been the SportsCenter top 10. Nowadays, it's like, no. You're gone. You will miss not only the second half of this game, but the first half of the next game, buddy. And, they were happy as, well, yes, and they were happy as pigs in slop. But what bothered me, the ugly, is when I went back and watched the replay. The the return blockers who were supposed to get in the way of two guys who had straight beeline drives to Kenari Wilcher's front did not a doggone thing to slow. And I'm not going to put numbers and names on blast, but all you got to do is go back and watch it. They stood, didn't cut off the Alcorn guys as they came right at Kenari and blew him up. And stood there as if to say, when he got blown up, oh, what just happened? Well, what happened was you didn't get in the way of the guy who was running straight down the field. Not a block for 20 yards, not even a get in his way to make him change direction. Both of them right down the middle of the field and blew Kenari up. And I was so thankful that, he got up, and was able to go back in the game, and he had a great game, led us in receiving, right? But that was ugly on two fronts for me, and I hope that is something that gets cleaned up in the special teams meetings. But, man, that was ugly to watch on two fronts for me.
Yeah, we have a bad habit of poor blocking on both kickoff and punt return. It's like they're not even coached. I don't know what.
They're all coached by one person now.
I don't know what they think they're out there for. They're not there to watch the running, the returner. Yeah, they should have a assigned person. Whoever comes free, I got them, and it's up to the return man to cut off my block. But I'm here to make contact with people, and I just don't get that our return guys we got out there understand that concept.
Nope. Or lane integrity too. Like I think some of the basics of special teams, I think, are what's missing. Like one of the first things you learn when you play special teams, stay in your lane. Like if you got outside contain, you got outside contain. But wherever your lane is, you stay there for a reason, because eventually, if you stay in your lane, you're gonna make a play. And if the play breaks to another direction, that's why you stay there. You stay disciplined. I don't know how disciplined we are on special teams right now.
And there's pursuit angles that you also supposed to use. Like if the play is going away from you, there's a certain angle from that you're supposed to take in order to be able to cut off that return person, even if they cut back. So I mean, and these are things that you're supposed to go over and you coach without the football at first, and walk through these things so they understand pursuit angles. But I don't know if the guys just ain't retaining and they just out there freelancing or what. But yeah, we definitely need to clean that up.
It's stuff they've been doing since high school. Because like I remember, like literally, like a third of practice was pursuit angles, and you just literally ran. And that's what made that contact.
That's what surprised me. That's what surprised me when I watched it and when I watched the replay, because I was sitting there thinking, how could he have gotten such a straight line? And then watch our guys that literally bad angle, just no diversion tactic whatsoever. I couldn't understand it. It was ugly. Let's go to the bad. Who led that last one off?
Kelvin led it off.
All right, Keith, you go with the bad.
I think the bad was the quarterback containment. Like, especially, man, when he got that long run and what he looked like he broke by 7.5 tackles. And it's like, what the heck? Like, how this dude getting this far? Like, I think that was probably the bad. And then just not putting away teams. Like, it's almost like Kelvin said it, but it's almost like we lack the killer instinct. Like, you don't have that oomph. Like what my boy from the Georgia announcer said, you got a hobnobbed boot. Like, you don't have that. You don't have that kill a mosquito with a hatchet. Like, you don't have that overkill. What we saw NCCU do to us, we don't have that. Like, that was not meant to rub it in. That was meant to make sure you knew we dominated you. And I don't see that we got that finish. It feels like even in our coaching, when you listen to some of the post games, it's meant to win by a margin opposed to just winning.
How about you, Kelvin?
This might should have been the ugly, and I'm sure you gentlemen will correct me if I'm wrong. But if I remember the season correctly thus far, we have not had a lead at halftime yet. And we haven't left the state of Florida.
Yeah.
So I'm projected.
As
I project and think about our upcoming games, and we only got one more home game left, that concerns me, man. We don't get leads in the first half. And that's a tough way to live, buddy, to be successful.
You ain't lying. Go back, check that FAMU website.
Yeah, I was sure enough thinking, damn, yeah, you onto something, Kelvin.
Look, there's a reason y'all folks look, your friends, not mine, was over there asking for a certain person from Albany because at halftime they were looking across the sideline and the question was, WTF is going on?
Yeah.
Okay. My bad was, let's see. I want to make sure I find it. I had a couple of different spots here. In the fourth quarter, we start after a 21-yard kickoff return. We start the 1st and 10 on our own 45-yard line. 8:50 to play. The score is 24-21. I think that's I'm trying to read this chart. But I remember I was talking to you guys about 2 plays where we attacked, and I thought that we should have kept going here. After on first down, after a 3-yard run by Thad Franklin, which is a personal foul penalty, pushes us back. So now it's 2nd and 18. RJ completes a pass to Goldie for 13 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5. We complete a 23-yard play to Jalen Rogers. So now we're 1st and 10 on the 27, the Alcorn 27. And this is that momentum where it's like, okay, tempo, momentum. I thought we should have, and Alcorn had just scored. Okay. So at this point, I think the game is 24-21. And I'm thinking, let's go punch him in the mouth right here. We go Thad Franklin, middle, 5 yards. 2nd and 5, Thad Franklin, 8 yards. We get a first down. Thad Franklin, 3 yards. We get to the 11. Now, all of a sudden, we want to go pass by RJ, incomplete, on 2nd and 7. Then pass by RJ on 3rd and 7, incomplete. Daniel Porto comes out, kicks a 38-yard field goal, scores 27-21. I couldn't for the life of me. I thought that was the bad. I couldn't understand. I'm not the play caller. I just thought that was a missed opportunity, especially a team that had sort of stole. And this was after the Neyron injury. So, we had a chance to go get life back into the stadium, and we missed it. We missed that opportunity in that moment. But so for me, that was the bad. That was the bad. All right, let's go to the good, fellas. Hey, we don't want to spend too long on the bad and the ugly. Let's talk about the good stuff. I guess do I lead off the good?
Yeah.
All right. Well, other than RJ Johnson, I thought RJ looked good. I mean, I'm gonna be on the side of RJ looking good. I gotta say, during the and Mr. Campbell, Steve, he pointed it out. He got my good. At Dupe, I was gonna try to get the name, but I got tongue tied in my head. I'm saying it 5 times. I was gonna mess it up. Obviously as the head drum major, she gets to bring the tubas down the line, and I thought it was cool as heck when during, her moves and she's moving and she getting, all this, and then all of a sudden she pauses and she takes a knee in slow motion. And there's a video of it that I retweeted. And when she took the knee, I was like, oh, that's cold. I said, that's bad. I said, that was tough.
Iconic.
That was iconic. She took a knee and was like, and then she picked it up and I said, there it is. I said that move, that was right there. That was dope. That was fire. Shout out to Dupe and in the walk off there with the 100 and the tubas and so that was pretty cool. That was my good outside of the performance by RJ. Go ahead, Kelvin. I guess you're next.
The good for me, we won homecoming. And we didn't have the headlines that a lot of other homecomings had before us.
Yes.
We did see, a couple of dust ups here and there, but ultimately, as far as everybody knows, everybody came. They left the same way they came. No major incident. So the good for me is we had a successful homecoming in every aspect. We won the game. Nobody got shot, and man, it was just a joyous occasion, man. This might be my favorite homecoming outside of my college days. I mean, it was joyful, man. Saw a lot of people came by, spoke. I ain't gonna call everybody's name because I know I missed somebody, but man, it was great seeing people. They were in festive moods, man. Some faces I hadn't seen in years. And we had a mini family reunion at our tailgate, and family and family. It was just awesome, man. So it was great seeing everybody, love everybody, man, and thoroughly enjoyed this homecoming.
Yeah, for sure. You did. You guys did a great job. Another great tailgate. Shout out to Kelvin and Sam and. You guys set it up, man. You guys did a great job. Awesome job. What about you, Keith? What was it good for you?
Man, I think Kelvin hit the nail on the head. Just the whole atmosphere, man. It was homecoming. Like, as Kelvin said, it was a FAMU and family reunion. I saw cousins on both sides of my family at Kelvin's tailgate. So, that was good. That was great. But I think at the end, it was just the fact that everyone came. There was so much fun to be had. And in a week where we're really, talking about what's going on the other side of the track, if you're local, you got a weekend where it was about FAMU and everything FAMU did right. No matter how you feel about the administration, Marvin did the Rattler charge, just did it twice. You unveiled the Humphrey statue. It was a really great weekend as a FAMU, and it was one of those times where, honestly, I was so full, like not just full food-wise, but emotionally, that that's why you come back. And to me, that's what you sell the future generations. That's why you tell them, come back home. Like, there's a difference. I'll never forget, right before I came into FAMU, it was like 2024. Like, I was still at TCC. And Fred Gaines, we were talking, doing an event at the house there, the president's house. And he's like, yeah, what are you thinking about? I was like, well, I'm thinking about coming to FAM. He's like, well, welcome home. That was home. And that was what makes FAMU unique. It's home. And even for those who didn't go to FAMU and who just have that family connection, it was home. And to me, that wasn't just good. That was great.
Yeah, great point. I mean, for a moment, and I mean, we can really, I feel like, man, if we can bottle that up and keep that momentum going, because, despite all the noise from other people, like you said, Kelvin, no static, no drama, no headline news. We won. I mean, you saw the highlights of the concerts and how electric they were. All the S talking by other fan bases. Y'all couldn't tell us, you couldn't tell us poo this weekend, because we were on our game with everything. Everything was tight this weekend, right? No drama, nowhere. I don't care what you say. So, I mean, it was beautiful, man. And it, I had a couple friends, my couple co-coaches that I coached with. They came. They experienced it for the first time in some years. And man, the one thing that I think, and this is why we all should be reminded that we have to make sure we bring our friends to FAMU. We got to expose. I mean, people. My coaches talked about, my fellow coaches I coach with at the high school here. They talked about the family and the sense of pride that Rattler, and they could see it in everybody they talked to. I mean, they came to the tailgate. They saw it from young to old generations. Wherever they went, they saw the pride that people have in being Rattlers. And that is what we continue to remind these young people and the coaches. And we know the coaches are trying, right? I mean, let's not, nobody doubts that our coaches aren't trying. And we got to continue to remind the student athletes, when you come to FAMU, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's different, man. Because, I mean, I live in a city where Keith and I live in a city where they're, one of the largest institutions in the state is in our city.
Nation.
Okay, nation. And they will tell you that the sense of pride that we have from our little school dwarfs theirs by like 100%, 10,000%.
Oh
right?
yeah, we get back when they don't, man. Like,
yeah.
I hear these folks all the time, Bryan. I live with one of them. They don't get back.
Yeah. I mean, there were some amazing checks that were being cut, man. I'm not gonna ask, what's going to athletics, but I regress. Regardless, yeah, I'm sorry.
Not enough.
Not enough. I love the fact that we are so invested. Shout out to all the freshman classes. The class of 88, all of them. I didn't too many to name, but I only mentioned 88 because I know Campbell is a part of the freshman class of 88. But man, so much love, and it reminds me every day, wow, the best choice I made leaving the state of Indiana was coming south to Florida. And I'll never regret a day in my life coming to Tallahassee, and I'll never regret deciding to stay, because there were days when I was like, I'm going back to Indiana, but no, I fought it out. I toughed it out, and I'm a better man for it.
And to that point, Bryan, I had a cousin who was in town from Dallas area, and he had his son who's a senior and a baseball player and a pitcher. And he's a pretty good player. He's been doing his research on different schools. Dad's a FAMU grad. I think mom went to an HBCU. I'm not sure if she graduated from that one or another one. But and he looked and he's been to a FAMU game before here and there. They don't get hit down a whole lot. But as a senior, that's a pretty impressive sight to see. And then he sees that the baseball team, someone got drafted, first HBCU player to get drafted in the 10th round and stuff. And he was very high. And he had one thing that, of course, that he was like, well, that's the only thing that give me pause. And that's the facility. But outside of that, he was absolutely floored with everything he saw. So, again, exposure, representation matters.
Yeah, if we ever get that facilities thing right, watch out.
Yeah.
Watch out. But okay, let's go to grades, fellas. Let's start. I think the toughest grades may be with special teams. So let's start there. Let's start with special teams grades. Here we go. Grades. Special teams. Who would like to lead this one? Kelvin, maybe?
Okay. Special teams, this one was really difficult. I actually been thinking about this most of the day because I know this would be my most difficult grade. Because you have a player of the week and a kicker who made 4 out of 5 field goals, including a 51-yarder. But you gave up the kick return, the punt return, and you did miss a field goal. So I'm gonna go B-, but I gotta give him a B because it was a lot of positive. But a B-, that return really, and because it's something we've struggled with the entire season, and we used a formation that I hope we'll stop using.
Keith, you want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go. Nah, it's crazy. I also had B- too because I was like Kelvin, like the missed field goal, that was a minus. The kick return is definitely a minus. But the fact that if not for the kicker, you lose this game. Like he's part of the reason you won. I can't take that away from him. So B-, and block kick.
B-. Damn, that's tough. I was trying to figure out, I'm gonna go with y'all, B- because as you said, there were so many areas where we could have been an A, and we were so close to being a D. But Daniel Porto going 4 or 5, but more importantly, the 50-yarder into the wind. And when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there was a difference in the kicking directions. Anybody who was kicking with the wind, practically every kickoff went into the end zone as a touchback, except for the one where they got penalized and kicked off from the 20. That was the only one. But every kickoff from the 35 with the wind going from south to the north end zone was a touchback. Daniel Porto was kicking to the south, into the south end zone, knocks. So he had the wind in his face, 50-yarders, killed it. And so that and the blocked kick that we got. But then you said, like you said, we had a block punt, we gave up a touchdown, and then we gave up another significant play, which led to a touchdown. So yeah, I think B-. Heck, I'm gonna be real. I was thinking C all in my heart. I'm gonna go C+. I'm gonna go C+. It was in my heart. I was trying to be nice, but y'all give me too much grief for my nice grades and stuff. So
if that kick block hadn't changed the game, I probably would have kept it to a C. But that kick block was the catalyst for us actually finishing the game.
Yes. Agreed. Okay. Let's go defense. I'll lead off the defense. Given the focus being on Sewell and the running game, I'm going to give the defense a solid B. 304 yards allowed. I know we gave up a lot of points, but we can honestly say 21 of the 28 was on the defense, okay, if we want to do it that way. And, Jalen Tolbert and the one receiver, number 4, was probably the most dangerous guys that we had to deal with. But I feel good. Solid B for the defense, holding them to 300 yards. I saw a lot. I was honestly really surprised at how hard we hit and attacked the gaps when Sewell was running. Cross and a couple of the linebackers, I was surprised. So solid B for the defense. We'll get an A effort one day when we force some turnovers. But right now, if that's the best that we can be without forcing any turnovers, I'll take that. Hopefully the offense can keep scoring. Go ahead, Keith.
You brought him up because I was going to give him a D, but I'm going to put him in the C range just because, man, 300 yards, that's a lot of yards. But I do take pride in the fact that you did slow down that run game. That was huge. But, man, that quarterback run, I still feel some type of way about that. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna leave him at a C, partially because I'm a little miffed about that. And I still don't love some of the things I see in coverage. I do think we need to do a little more to make sure that some of our DBs are helped out because they need all the help they can get because some of them keep getting burnt.
Man, you guys are some tough graders in the room, boy. I tell you what. Go ahead, keep going.
I'm gonna go B-. I'm gonna split y'all too. And here's my thought process. as Bryan indicated, 21 of the 28 was on the defense. Then also, I will even give the kickoff return that the man returned it to the 45-yard line in the fourth quarter, that when they got a final score, put the defense at a disadvantage also. So, it was a short field. They did a great job of stopping the run game, particularly those two running backs, which is so that part was an A. Not finishing the game, and once the offense put you up 33-21, that I have a real problem with that. And then there was no turnovers, like you say. So B- for me.
Okay. Here we go. Offense now. Grading the offense. Keith, you get a lead off.
I'm gonna surprise you on this one. I'm gonna give it A-. Like, I'm giving it A-. As much as, hey, y'all say what y'all want to, quarterback be having turnovers. He don't look pretty doing it sometimes, but sometimes it's the results that matter, right? And so if we're looking at the results, I thought the running game was solid, even though Thad Franklin still didn't get his 100 yards. Bold prediction. I get to you right now. 100 yards versus Southern for Thad Franklin. First time this season. Maybe
I'm the one that's been. I think I'm the one that's jinxing him. So I'm gonna have another bold prediction on Wednesday, because I think it's me. I've been calling for it all season. It ain't come up yet. So he may get it this week, Keith, all because of you.
So, but yeah, I'm giving an A, man. The running backs, you got the ball to a lot of different receivers. I did like that you did some different things, even though you was throwing to the left side of the field a whole lot. I'm gonna leave that out, But otherwise, give him an A.
Kelvin?
I think Keith turned into Bryan. That was a very soft. That's a soft A.
Take the pressure off me this week, Keith. Boy,
Yeah, he was scheduling. But I'm gonna tell you why it's a soft A in my opinion, and you'll get it. We had 5 field goals attempts. We made 4. You change at least half of that into touchdowns, then you can get an A. That's the reason I'm giving it a B. Not enough touchdowns.
Man, well, I tell you, I'm nervous now, man. Because boy, I catch all kinds of heck for.
He about to say A+. Watch.
No. I've scaled everything back. Look, I don't have to say A because Keith gave it A. I feel good. I'm like, whoo. I don't have to say A. I'm gonna say a solid B. I'm too nervous to give it. I thought while I will give this will piss people off. While I will give the quarterback play an A, the receivers I will give a solid B+. The offensive line I have to give a C. So in total, the offense I have a B. You have 1A, 1B, 1C. You do the average. You know how that works, Keith. You end up with about a B in average, So, it is what it is. Red zone scoring chances, we were 5 of 5, but how many of those were touchdowns? Yeah. So, 4.
And some of that's messed up by penalties and other stuff, too.
Yes.
We only had 6 penalties. Like 2 of the 6 were stupid.
Really should have only had 5. Really, because the one that the Thad Franklin one on the Goldie toss sweep going from right to left that they say he was blocking below them. It was a horrible call. Even Jay and Tiffany watching the replay were kind of like, okay, I don't know about that, but they. So
and Bryan, to that point, I don't want to dump on them, So this is with SWAC conference office, and officials. I don't expect officials to get every call right, but I do expect them to get the easy calls right. The stuff that's simple, right? If somebody if you say somebody called foul catch, first of all, I need for you to know what a foul catch looked like. But if they call foul catch, I need for you to know that the ball goes to the 25 and not what he called foul catch at on the kickoff.
Still
I mean,
can't.
just simple stuff.
How inconsistent
Hey,
was that though? Like,
as we say, the standard is standard. I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. SWAC office, your officials got to do better and be consistent with the easy calls.
because 1 week was that at the 5-yard line, then next week is at 25. It's like, come on, man.
I can't understand it. Can't understand. I'll constantly be wrong. I'll wait on them to put the ball where it is. I'll always question it. After that, I don't know what a fair catch and where it should be anymore. All right, coaching. Last grade coaching. Kelvin, you get to lead it off here. Coaching.
I've been a very tough grader. What I think a very honest and accurate grader. I'm gonna give him I'm struggling to get it out. A B minus. I'm not gonna give him a C. I'm gonna give him a B minus.
Ooh. Okay.
There were some things that I thought could translate for us further, right? As Keith mentioned, on offensively, we did some motion. RJ did do a little more running. On defense, we were able to stop the run, which is always a goal against a team that wanted to run the ball. When G was on our show with, that's what he talked about. I think we'll be able to run the ball against FAMU. And then special teams, there were some things that special teams really coaching is dragging down the grade. The reason why they should get a C because of the punt return and some other stuff. But yeah, B minus I think is fair.
I just have a problem giving a C when you win. You outgain your opponent by nearly 200 yards. You cover expectations, Keith. It's hard for me to give a C for the coaching on homecoming week, given all the potential distractions to be able to get the guys to handle their jobs responsibly. So I give a solid B to the coaching. If it were a different week in the season, I might be a little more critical, but you had a lot of reasons not to give the kind of effort that they were able to get from the guys. So good job, coaches. Way to keep them focused. Now, hopefully, let this be a momentum builder. 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time.
Well, to that point, what we need to see with this game and this week is to build upon that. There were some elements to the game, and we kind of find out what some of our players can do well. And we need to continue to expand that. And because we hadn't seen no progress, frankly, from week 1 to week 5. We look like the same daggum team for those first 5 weeks. I did see some elements of improvement this week, so we just need to keep that trend going.
Agreed. Go ahead, Keith.
I'm giving him a B, but I wasn't going to give him a C because it was homecoming. Because you did take the team to Georgia. Colsey says that post game. They went to Colquitt. They used their facility. They literally left there that morning of the game to arrive there. So they were out of town, right? Mm-hmm. But the reason I really give it a B is because at this point the offensive line is a F. I'm sorry, I can't give them nothing better than an F. But the receiving core, I gave them a C. I mean, they still dropped some balls. I gave the quarterback a B plus just because some of the passes were off target. Like some of the reasons the receivers are dropping the ball is because the quarterback's just not hitting them in their hands. Like he's still throwing the ball. And I distinctly remember he throws the ball to the tight end over the middle. I think it's near the 5-yard line. It hits the tight end in the hands, but he's literally backpedaling and falling backwards because the ball is throwing short. But, he's still missing reads, everything like that. But still, defensively, I think you are what you are, right? But, I think the real thing that we're coaching, I'm going to give you a little more leeway, is where we saw some growth. Like, work with what worked, take out what ain't working, and continue to grow. And I think that was the biggest frustration for the first X amount of weeks of this season. We kept watching the same play calls. Like, You kept running the wide receiver screen, where the wide receiver's backpedaling like this, and then puts his hands up and catches the ball. You're running the running back draw play up the middle, where you give it to Thad, and then he runs between the tackle and the guard on the left side. Then you have the other play where the receiver on the left side runs a hitch, and RJ throws that pass. Otherwise, I really ain't seen a lot of other routes. So now, okay, you showed me some things where guys are running in motion. Now we're running the Wildcat. You only got really one play out of the Wildcat, but you only got one play per formation anyway, so it kind of is what it is. So, I'm cool with it right now, though, because you won. But you come up there with a team that's actually competent with some of this BS we seen, you're going to lose.
All right. Well, we don't have to worry about that just yet.
No, you got 2 weeks until you see somebody competent. Southern, they trash.
Let me give again another quick shout-out reminder there. SWAC Football Players of the Week. Daniel Porto, Specialist of the Week, again going 4 for 5 on field goals, including a 51-yarder into the wind. And then R.J. Johnson III, co-newcomer of the week, did a great job leading the offense. Statistically, first 300-yard game, scored 2 touchdowns, 1 throwing, 1 rushing. No interceptions, no fumbles lost. So congratulations to Daniel.
Congratulations to both of those guys. And hopefully both of those guys would make that next step, because they both needed confidence in terms of being able to do it when it counted in a win, and RJ has been, catching a lot of straight shots. So to show some resiliency, some toughness, and to continue to work to get better. That's a positive sign. Gotta root for that.
And then Porto make him a little money this week, because 9 of 11 on the season, just hitting 51-yard field goal might made himself a little money in the portal. But yeah, RJ catching straight bullets like Michael Vick. That dude, they had to shoot that straight at Michael Vick like that. That was dirty. It was funny though.
All right. The other breaking news as we get ready to close the show. About if you're in the chat room, you saw it there. Zach McKinnell had broken it for us, but it is official. Southern University has fired Terrence Graves. Reading the memo here, immediate release. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Southern University Director of Athletics Roman Banks announced today that head football coach Terrence Graves has been relieved of his duties effective immediately, and that a national search for Graves' successor has begun. He says, I want to thank Coach Graves for the energy, determination, and for leading the team to a Western Division championship. That was last season. Graves' connection to Southern University runs deep. He will always be a Jaguar, said Banks. This was a difficult decision, but the results on the field were not acceptable. After evaluating every aspect of the football program, I believe it is in the best interest of Southern football student athletes, our fans, and our university. Fred McNair will serve as the interim head coach for the remainder of the 2025 season. And there will be a press conference tomorrow, Tuesday, October 21st, 12:30 Central, 1:30 Eastern, featuring Coach McNair. Terrence Graves, Southern was 1-6 this season, 0-3 in SWAC play. They have been outscored 224 to 58. And in the 6 losses, they have not scored more than 14 points in any of those 6 losses.
And we get a redemption bowl.
And they have like 4 at home? I mean, they've had a lot of home games.
The schedule? You mean the schedule coming up?
No, I'm talking about the schedule they already played.
Oh, no, I know was talking about the Southern schedule.
Yeah,
I was looking at Alcorn playing Southern in Alcorn.
Purview, I know was at home for Southern.
Oh, you're talking about the losses, where those losses were. Let's see. They lost to Alabama. Yeah, they lost to Alabama State 30-7. They lost to Jackson State 38-17. They lost to Prairie View 24-3. And look, how crazy is it? You've played the 3 top teams in the conference. Now, you would have hoped in the preseason, you're saying, ooh, we got the top team. If we're a good team, we got the top teams at home, right? That sounds good in the preseason when you're preseason predicted number 1, right?
You lost to Cookman at home and gave up 45 points, though.
No, they are on the road. They lost to Cookman on the road.
Oh, yeah, and gave up 45 points.
Well, I mean, look, Cookman is looking. Let's not poo-poo on what they're doing. I mean, they're doing some
Beating
things.
The bottom feeders.
No, Cookman is dangerous. They can put up points.
They put 35 up on Alabama State.
Yeah, they
35
started
up
off
on Alabama State.
Yeah, they started out, but since they made that quarterback change, buddy, you're gonna have to outscore them now.
Exactly. I'm right here with EA. No way we should be calling any other teams trash. We should come on now, Keith. We should
call like I see them.
I mean,
Alcorn's trash.
Well, he can say that. It just means that applies to us too.
Yeah, you be careful about holding
that. I ain't denied that
either. Let's not do that.
Look like knock-knee, bow-legged trash.
It's going to be interesting to see what impact this has on Southern. It won't change nothing for us, but from a mental standpoint, because this ain't, it's not a whole lot they're going to be able to do schematic wise. And I've watched Southern, and frankly, they having issues with the interior D-line and linebackers. They're just not very good at those positions at all. So if you keep that in from disrupting your offense, the backside of that defense and the middle of that defense is soft. And Fred ain't gonna be able to do nothing about that until next year.
If he gets
if he's there,
next year.
right?
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that what this could happen, what could make a difference is they may play a little harder, with a little more fire. We'll see.
Yeah. November 8th. That's all I got to say. If I'm Southern, November 8th.
Well, look at it. So if you really look at, if you look at the strength of Southern's schedule, I'm looking at it in totality. They've not only played who they've lost to at home, you add in the North Carolina Central loss at the beginning of the year. They played the top, probably in most people's preseason or current rankings and polls. They probably played number 1, 2, 3, and 4, lost to all 4 of them. Then you have to play, like you said, then you have rival games between Alcorn State. Well, no, not Alcorn State, but Grambling. And you got a Texas Southern game, a team that's playing better. So it's turning out to look like one of those seasons where you go back and say who had the toughest schedule in the SWAC. It may very well be Southern that has the toughest schedule in the SWAC right now.
Remember when we were doing preseason predictions and we talked about this game? Initially, I was concerned about this game. Then I made a statement though. I looked and said, "Oh man, look at their schedule before we play them. They're gonna be beat up." And I think that's kind of where they at right now.
Yep. Yeah. And I said I wasn't worried about that game. I'm not gonna say I'm not worried about it. I'm a little concerned, but I ain't worried. I do think though, one of the things just on the college football landscape side, right? I think what we're gonna get after this season in particular, we're gonna get a restructuring of how these coaches' contracts are done. I don't care whether it's big school, little school. Even when you look across the street, they gave Michael Novella, all right, man, we're going to let you figure this out. And all that really meant was we're going to figure out how to pay this man and keep passing his hat. Where UF just did what they did, and even other schools, smaller schools, even considering FAMU, you have to restructure these contracts to where you're not paying these coaches that much because it doesn't matter how much and who the coach is at some of the point if they can't get the talent. And with some of these guys, like, it matters. Some of them it doesn't. But I think overall, we're going to start seeing some restructure of some of these contracts so you can probably put some more money towards the NIL, and also so that you can get from up under these contracts when coaches don't perform.
So let me say something to that.
That's a good point, Keith. I think you're onto something right there.
You may see a small shift, but just always remember this. Coaching salary and packages are market driven. The universities ultimately don't control that. Because if school is willing to pay $10 million, you got to pay your guy $10 million if you want to keep it. That's just the arm race that coaching at the powerful level is. At our level, if you want people to be committed to your program, you got to have multi-year contracts. So that's just part of it. Here's what I would argue and say. We have to be much better in the selection process. HBCUs tend to be lazy. They do a lot of retread, rehires, same old. I would like to see them look for a little bit younger guys who at the D2 level or who's been successful as a head coach or some up and coming hotshot coordinators. I think they need to diversify the people they look at. Mm-hmm. If you just look at Southern last 3 head coaches, I'm just saying, if you want to see something different, if you want to take your athletic program to another level, and you got to kind of look at different candidates.
Like HBCUs are incestual. Like we can say that very nicely and be honest about this. We only like to hire our own people a lot of times, and people who've already been there. That's incest. You ain't getting no new thinking. Like, even you think about FAMU, our best coaches are not FAMUans. Like Jay Gaither, no. You started in, what was it Billy Joe? He was up there at Central State, beat the fool out of you, didn't he? Circuit City Classic.
D2 coaches who winning.
Right. So at a certain point, you got to stop going and getting people from just other school who got fired and then bring them back and think you're going to do something over and do something different. Go get somebody from somewhere else that's winning. And I don't care if they're black, white, polka dot, red, yellow, gray. Get me somebody that's going to win. Because especially at a FAMU, we have shown you if you win, we will come. And it don't matter if you're black or white. If you go to FAMU baseball games, it's pretty well attended. You go back to FAMU basketball games under the greatest coach in FAMU history, arguably, Billy Gillespie. Bob, what I'm talking about, Bob Gillespie, whatever. He's white. He was Mike Gillespie. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sleepy. Look, I've been APing all day. So Mike Gillespie, go and get a winner. And sometimes I don't think we do that. We too busy trying to hire our friends and somebody we know versus who's the best person for the job.
I do think at some point,
culture does matter, though.
Yes,
it's not that simple because not anybody can come to FAMU and be successful.
I agree
because there are things that you have to deal with culturally.
That's where I was going to that. There are things that you have to deal with. There are things you have to deal with whether it be an HBCU or maybe a particular HBCU that you may not have to deal with, say at a Coastal Carolina or a Appalachian State. They may not be sexy in terms of brand name wise, and we understand we have a very sexy brand, but it's like it's a pretty girl that has nice teeth and bad breath. I mean, it's sometimes it's hard to get up on. It's hard to get up close to, and you got to realize
that boy's stupid. No, it's a pretty girl that makes nice things.
That was a great. That's all I could come up with on that analogy. I'm sorry.
She like broke country boys who've been making it, and all of a sudden you come to her and you shine up. And you look better because you're standing next to her. Most great FAMU coaches come from a smaller program then come to FAMU and excel. The only exception really would be Jay Gaither, right? Didn't he come from like Ohio State, something like that? Like, or Rudy Hubbard? Most of these other guys, they come from smaller
Knoxville
places.
College.
Right.
College, yeah.
Like Knoxville College. So the only exception is Rudy Hubbard. Every other coach who's been worth a suck has come from a smaller school and made FAMU better. Gillespie, TCC. Simmons was at PV, and he rebuilt that program and left them to come home. Like Central State, like it's the same story over and over again. We just try to reinvent the wheel.
Hey, but the key with all those folks you calling and pointing out, they were winners when they came.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It matters at
They
FAMU.
weren't marginal winners.
At FAMU, it don't matter at Valley, but it matters at FAMU.
Yeah. Look at Coach Beal, Patterson. Heck, the baseball coach, Jamie Shute.
Mm-hmm.
He should have been the next head baseball coach of Florida State. I'll say it. I'm an FSU fan. I don't care if I make you mad. Like he was bringing in those recruits. He was bringing in recruits that couldn't play because they were getting drafted. Like Joe Mauer was committed to Florida State, but he got drafted by the Twins, and he was from Minnesota. Of course, he stayed home. Like you bring home winners. Don't bring us mid and then expect excellence.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's going to do it for tonight's Monday Night Football review. Keith, let the people know when's the next Fangs Up podcast. What you got upcoming for the folks?
Man, Thursday, we getting ready for the game. We're gonna talk about it. Bryan got to get ready to travel though. He got to pack his bags. International player flying into the city, man. Y'all better watch out, Baton Rouge. And he might wear his earrings soon and get a fresh cut. You better watch out, baby.
I am getting a fresh cut. My first time in Southern. Shoot, I may go get the hot towel shave and everything, boy. Watch out. Watch out, Southern.
But Thursday, Sunday, man, and if the post game, we'll see what happens with that. If it's a Zoom, we might try to do something with it. But y'all know Thursday and Sunday, and we may have some future plans, some other things going on. Always continuing to grow and everything like that.
All right, good stuff, Keith. Kelvin, who we got coming up on Wednesday's show?
So we're gonna have College Brown from the College Brown Show. Southern grad, talk about everything that's going on there.
And plenty to talk about now.
Absolutely, yeah. And then we're also going to have our women's basketball coach, Coach Pressure. She's going, basketball season is getting ready to get started, and she's going to talk.
2 weeks from today, the season starts 2 weeks from today. 2
weeks, and we got a month into the HBCU Invitational.
Yeah. Good stuff. I don't know what that is, but okay. You have to hit me offline. I think I know what that is. Is that the one in Orlando?
Yes,
that's the one in Orlando.
Thank you. Okay. I didn't want to. I was like, keep throwing that in there like everyone knew. Okay.
That's part of the problem.
Thank you. All right, 2 weeks away from the start of basketball season. Men and women start. We got Coach Pressure coming on Wednesday, and we got Carlos Brown from the Carlos Brown Show that'll be talking about Southern. We like to give the review or the preview. So plenty of opportunities there. Thank you to everybody that made homecoming a great weekend. I'm glad I saw some people, and anyone. I saw a few old friends. Some made a lot of new friends every week, every time I come home. And so, hopefully it was a great experience for you. And shout out to everyone at FAMU, Florida A&M University, that did their part in some small way, from organizing an event to throwing an event. Everybody did a great job. Pat yourselves on the back. Applause to everybody, man, for making FAMU great. Best homecoming in the universe. We don't want to just be the best on earth. We're the best damn homecoming in the universe at Florida A&M University, period. All right. God bless everybody. What you got? What, number one? Or are you just saying one more?
We're number one, man. What you mean?
Yeah, hey. I don't care. I don't care what the other folks say in North Carolina. But anyway, appreciate all of you. Make sure to go check out.
It can't be that great.
the BCSN Pod Zone, BCSN Pod Zone. Everybody can download podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google Podcasts, so on and so forth. We got a lot to talk about this upcoming Wednesday. Lot of action. We've got stuff happening on the volleyball courts. We got stuff happening. Basketball again 2 weeks away. Softball's coming up this weekend.
Baseball.
Baseball. So plenty of stuff for us to talk about. Make sure to catch Wednesday's show, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, right here on the Black College Sports Network. And, of course, Things Up podcast with Keith Hadley on Thursday, the most recent episode coming up Thursday, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. All right. For Keith and Kelvin, I'm Bryan Fulford. Thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. Good night. God bless. Congratulations, Rattlers. And we are on to Southern. Peace out.